Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Many people consider him the GOAT and the best player to ever play a game of basketball. With Jordan going 6 for 6 in the NBA Finals and having 6 rings, it is undeniable how great Jordan is, and nobody ever dares question his greatness or legacy. But in the whole career of the great Air Jordan, which game was his greatest performance? What's goody YouTube? It's ya boy, AC3, back with a banger for y'all. We just hit 200 subs and I'm so speechless right now. 2 weeks ago, we had just hit 100 subscribers and we already passed 200 now, and I can't wait to see how far this channel can go. I just created an Instagram for the channel, so be sure to follow it at AC3Gang, and link will be in the description. And follow it because there will be future giveaways coming very soon. Other than that, let's get straight to the video. Let's get it! Michael Jordan has had numerous amazing performances, such as the flu game and the game where he had the shot, and is nothing short of the best player to ever play the game, in most people's opinion, and will never be forgotten. But people find it very hard to decide which game was his greatest performance. In my opinion though, the greatest game in Michael Jordan's whole career was the final game in his Chicago Bulls uniform, which was Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Finals. If you guys watched The Last Dance, you will understand why. The 1997 to 1998 Bulls was the last season where the Bulls roster would stay together, and afterwards, they would have to be separated or traded, as stated by the current general manager of the Bulls at the time, Jerry Krause. Phil Jackson was also going to be replaced by another head coach in the next year, and Jordan clearly stated that he would only play for Jackson and would refuse to play for another coach or team. As a result, this made the Bulls players realize that it was their last year together and that it was a must-win season at all costs. During the 1997 to 1998 season, the Bulls struggled a lot at the beginning since they didn't have Scottie Pippen for the first 35 games. Pippen was injured in the previous season with a ruptured tendon in his ankle, but purposely waited until the beginning of the season to have his surgery performed. This was due to the fact that Scottie had a very icy and bad relationship with the Bulls front office, since Pippen was heavily underpaid and they were not increasing his salary at all. As a result, since Pippen knew he was probably going to get traded or forced to sign with another team next year, Pippen decided to take his time and recover in order to protect his free agency value and earn the money that he deserved. As a result, the Bulls had 24 wins and 11 losses in the season without Pippen, which showed how badly they needed him. After Pippen had returned, the Bulls finished the season at 62 wins and 20 losses, which showed how important Pippen was and proved to everyone his value. Just think about it, the Bulls only lost 9 more games in the season with Pippen, and went from struggling in the season to finishing first in the whole league. Entering the first round of the playoffs, the Bulls faced the New Jersey Nets, who were in the 8th seed of the Eastern Conference. As expected, the Bulls easily swept the Nets and beat them in 3 games, with Jordan averaging an absurd 36.3 points per game. You guys might be confused and thinking, shouldn't the Bulls have beat the Nets in 4 games? Well, back in the Bulls era, the first round of the NBA playoffs only consisted of a 5-game series instead of a 7-game series, which is why teams could have won in 3 games. But anyways, Jordan carried the Bulls in that series, and the second high scorer was of course Pippen, with 18 points per game. Now entering the second round, the Bulls were facing the 4th seed Hornets, which was a lot tougher than the Nets. The Hornets had Glenn Rice, Anthony Mason, and Del Curry, which made them a lot better than the Nets. The Bulls still beat the Hornets though in 5 games, with Jordan averaging 29.6 points per game and 4.6 assists, which showed how dominant he was, no matter who was guarding him. The Bulls were now coming into the Eastern Conference Finals, which was a tough task against the Indiana Pacers, which was led by the infamous Reggie Miller. Miller proved to be a very tough task for the Bulls and pushed the Bulls to a 7-game series, which barely any teams in the past had done. In Game 7 though, the Bulls barely beat the Pacers by 5 points, and Jordan's Bulls had slipped past the Pacers. Jordan put up 31.7 points per game and 4.1 assists per game in that series. Finally, the Bulls were entering the NBA Finals, which was their final time together, and meant they had to end their final season together with one last championship. But it was no easy task, since they were up against the Utah Jazz, which had a deadly trio in Karl Malone, Jeff Hornacek, and John Stockton. After many hard-fought games, the Bulls were up 3-2 in the series against the Jazz, and this is where I firmly believe Jordan had his best game in the series in Game 6. Jordan was locked in the moment he stepped onto the court and was completely unstoppable. Jordan was hitting layups, dunks, mid-range shots, fadeaways, three-pointers, everything. The Jazz tried to switch Malone on Jordan multiple times, but Jordan was still able to score no matter who the Jazz tried to put on him, and Jordan finished the first half with 23 points. Although this is the case, the game still remained very close at halftime, and the Jazz were up by 4, 49-45. In the third and fourth quarter though, Jordan still kept his tempo going and carried the Bulls even harder than before. The game went down to the wire, and in the last minute of the fourth quarter, Jordan had tied the game, but at the 40-second mark, John Stockton hit a 3, and the Jazz were up by 3, 86-83. Jordan drove into the lane and hit a layup, but the Bulls were still down by 1. On the other end, Malone turned the ball over and Jordan had the series in his hands and the whole hopes of the Bulls winning one last title. Jordan drove in and hit his signature pullback jump shot, and with that, he had hit the game-winning jump shot, and the Bulls beat the Jazz by 1. Jordan finished the game with 45 points, 1 assist, and 4 steals, and hit the game-winning jump shot to end the Bulls' dynasty with one last championship, which is clearly why this was his greatest game. It was also the perfect way for Jordan to sign off with his Bulls career with such an iconic buzzer beater. But what do you think? Do you agree this was Jordan's greatest game, or do you have another game in mind that you think surpasses this one? Let me know about your thoughts in the comment section below, and please like and subscribe if you enjoy my videos and keep the channel live and running. Until next time, AC3 out.